between Nigeria and the Kingdom of Morocco aimed at enhancing the socio-economic well-being of the two countries and their peoples. This brings to 21 the number of agreements signed after 2 days of high-level talks between President Muhammadu Buhari and King Mohammed VI of Morocco. Nigeria and the Kingdom of Morocco have also resolved to take concrete steps towards the promotion of a regional gas pipeline project that will connect the two countries and several West African states. This is contained in a communique issued at the end of a bilateral discussion between President Muhammadu Buhari and the King of Morocco, Mohammed VI. Details will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletins. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says Nigeria is fully prepared to be part of any declaration that will seek to protect endangered cultural heritage around the world. This pledge is contained in his address at the International Conference on Safeguarding Endangered Cultural Heritage in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Anthony Forson reports.
At the heart of this conference is the urgent need to come up with a declaration that will establish an international funding system that will protect cultural heritage and the creation of an international network of safe havens for temporary protection of cultural heritage threatened by armed conflicts and terrorism. Nigeria's Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who represented President Muhammadu Buhari at the conference, said there will be no better time than now to put in place mechanisms that will save the people's culture.
It is absolutely important for all countries of the world to subscribe to all these conventions. This conference represents another milestone in the global efforts to protect the cultural heritage that belongs to us all. Let us recommit ourselves to efforts that can safeguard our cultural heritage.
Going down memory lane, the minister cited the 2012-2013 crisis in Mali, where most of the country's historic manuscripts were saved in private libraries. Otherwise, they will have been destroyed, saying the $100 million fund to be established should make provision for sensitization campaign.
Issues of underdevelopment, including poverty, will have to be considered in order to raise the consciousness of the locals about the importance of defending cultural heritage.
In their separate submissions, conveners of the conference, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, and the President of France, François Hollande, were in unison, saying these threats are beyond human comprehension and tantamount to war crimes. In Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Pivot for economic growth has started in Abuja. Glory Ekanem reports that the event kicked off with a carnival float to display the country's rich cultural heritage.
The 4-day carnival is an assemblage of contingents from different states of the Federation, including the FCT, on a location to display an array of Nigeria's cultural endowment to promote culture and tourism for the purpose of economic development of the nation.
This carnival will be able to give people a sense of belonging, give people a reason to celebrate something.
We use it to create wealth. So that's why we are depicting the drum as an avenue for economic growth, our culture. The drum is depicting our culture.
With the carnival's modest takeoff, this year's edition will showcase the Doba, masquerades, boat regatta, food fair, children fiesta, and various exhibitions of Nigeria's artifacts. In Abuja, Glory Ekanem, NTA News.
The Savannah Center for Diplomacy, Democracy and Development Council of the WISE is engaging in sets of activities to strengthen regulatory frameworks on media and practice of journalism in Nigeria. This is coming under the Center's Democracy, Stability and Media Accountability Project. Timothy Yusuf reports on the project launch in Abuja.
The initiative aims at improving capacity of regulatory agencies to monitor performance and sanction defaulting media houses and journalists in the dissemination of dangerous, hate or inflammatory speeches, premised on the 2015 elections that witnessed use of hate speeches, causing disaffection amongst Nigerians on the basis of ethnicity and religion. Coordinator of the Savannah Center and alternate chairman of the project, Professor Ibrahim Kambari, and some council members said,
hate speech can contribute to horrendous tragedies and massive violation of human rights.
We have a lot of work to do, and so that we don't continue at this pace leading up to another general election.
So I think there's an added responsibility for the media to focus more.
Representing the DG of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, was Executive Director News, Shola Atere, and with others explained the media as a reflection of society.
The truth of the matter is, if we actually want to sustain democracy, then the institutions of democracy themselves have to be reinforced.
Project Chairman Justice Mohammed Lawal Uwais summed up this way.
We look forward to more interaction and more action to stop hate speech.
Council members are to deliver on a prosperous and politically stable Africa. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Aisha Al-Hassan, says passing the National Disability Bill into law remains the priority of the ministry. The position was unanimously commended by other speakers at the celebration of the 2016 International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Timothy Yusuf again reports.
Lack of global focus on persons with disabilities and its attendant consequences have remained the major challenges that continually threaten human existence and the attainment of all-round meaningful development of societies. This led to the proclamation of December 3rd of every year as International Day of Persons with Disabilities by the United Nations General Assembly in 1992. 36-year-old Lois Auta is among many persons living in Nigeria with disability.
The major challenge is accessibility. We don't have access to infrastructures.
You see banks, you can't enter into banks.
We need more inclusive office.
Let there be a national policy for persons with disability.
Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development Aisha Al-Hassan says government is aware of the plight of persons with disabilities and that conscious efforts are ongoing to tackle them.
The objectives of this year's celebration in Nigeria, among others, to showcase and celebrate the contributions of persons with disabilities in Nigeria as agents of change and development.
Change is beginning with us.
Goodwill messages from local and international partners unanimously called for total inclusiveness of persons with disabilities as well as necessary legislations that will bring discrimination against persons with disabilities to an end. The theme for this year's celebration is achieving 17 goals of the Sustainable Development Goals for the future we want. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The federal government has urged the citizenry to honor Nigeria's fallen heroes and support their families through the purchase of the Armed Forces emblem ahead of the 2017 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawal, gave the advice when he received in audience a delegation from the Nigerian Fallen Heroes Project, who paid him a visit to solicit support for the project. Justin Bemungi reports.
The Nigeria Fallen Heroes Project, a project powered by the Ministry of Defense and Nigerian Legion to massively promote the 2017 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration, decried the low patronage of the emblem last year, where only 17,000 pieces were purchased as they decorated the Secretary to the Government of the Federation with the 2017 emblem.
Over the years, we have looked at the situation and discovered that a lot still remains to be done. In as much as the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebrations have been on, it has just gone on as a military or paramilitary affair without touching on the society so much.
Senior Special Assistant to the President on Political Matters, Gideon Samani, who stood in for the Secretary to Government of the Federation, expressed the need for Nigerians to appreciate the fallen heroes who have contributed and sacrificed for the peace and unity of the country.
We thank you for decorating us with this emblem, which is supposed to be worn for remembrance of the fallen heroes. By what we have seen today, I'm sure this is a strategy that will move the number of those that will purchase this emblem from 17,000 to over 70 million.
I'm pleading to all Nigerians.
By the defense.
Of non-compliant properties. This sometimes occur due to technical or human error. The training with instructors from the British Royal Air Force is aimed at enhancing the capacity of the Nigerian Armed Forces in ensuring minimal collateral damage. Effective target estimation, the Chief of Defense Staff said, is critical to the Armed Forces' internal and external operations.
This is the Defense Headquarters' response to the challenges of collateral damage and associated targeting issues and operations involving the armed forces of Nigeria.
Personnel from the Army, Navy, and Air Force participated in the 2 weeks intensive program. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And on business news, federal government gives approval to reconcile claims of over-deductions on Paris Club loans. Ede Ago has details.
Efforts to commence the refund of over-deductions of 522.74 billion naira on Paris Club loans to state governments has gathered momentum as work to resolve each state's claim is already in progress. Report from the Federal Ministry of Finance says state governments have submitted to the federal government claims of over-deductions for external debt arising between 1995 and 2002 as a result of the first-line charge deductions from the Federation Account Allocation Committee. The refund, which is subject to reconciliation of available records, is expected to take approximately 12 months. However, a minimum of 25% as a conditional payment was reached to support the fiscal stimulus program of the federal government. The debt service deductions are in respect of the Paris Club, London Club, and multilateral debts of federal and state governments. Ede Awu, NTA News.
Over now to Uche Nwizu for stories from the foreign scene.
China's foreign ministry says it has launched a diplomatic protest after the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump spoke to Taiwan's leader in a phone call. Reports says the move risks angering China, which sees Taiwan as a breakaway province. Trump's call has therefore broken the U.S. policy set in 1979 when formal relations with Taiwan was cut. Meanwhile, Trump's transition team said U.S. President-elect and Taiwan's president noted close economic, political, and security ties during the phone conversation. In Somalia, soldiers allied to the Western-backed Somali government said they killed 7 insurgents from a faction loyal to the Islamic State group in a clash in northern Somalia on part of a force headed to the port town of Kandala, which has been under the control of the insurgents since November. And from Syria comes a report that close to 2/3 of rebel-held areas of East Aleppo have now fallen to the Syrian government after another district was seized. A UK-based monitor said the Tariq al-Bab district fell on Friday, opening up a link between government-held areas and Aleppo's airport. Thousands of people have been displaced, and the United Nations had said conditions in East Aleppo were critical. Uche Nwizu, NTA News.
In response to prevailing challenges in Nigeria's home front and the international arena over the years, experts and key players are of the view that these developments call for stringent and robust review of the nation's foreign policy and strategy to align them with the present-day realities. This was at a stakeholders conference holding in Abuja with the theme Nigeria's Foreign Policy and Strategy, Responses to the Dynamics of Domestic and Global Environment in the 21st Century. Justin Bem-Onyi has details.
Efforts at achieving national integration and development globally in recent times seem to have been adversely undermined by a complex web of socio-economic and political problems like never before. Such challenges range from terrorism and transnational security threats, poverty, monumental corrupt practices, and ethno-religious crises, as well as environmental challenges, amongst other challenges. In light of this, experts, eminent diplomats, and foreign policy practitioners are mandated to review all aspects of Nigeria's foreign policy and strategy and to develop an action plan for the realization of a new one in the context of fully challenges.
There is therefore an urgent need, indeed an imperative necessity, to fundamentally strengthen our foreign policy strategies and diplomatic capability in all its spheres.
The increasing inability of international governance bodies, both at the global and regional level, to regulate the behavior of states and non-state actors, have coalesced to compel nation states to have a rethink on their foreign policy posture.
The Vice President, who was represented by the essay to the President, Office of the Vice President, indicated that the review exercise should redefine the overall interests of the nation.
Some of these issues are immediate and confront us on a daily basis, while others are creeping upon us slowly but surely. Some of our more obvious and pressing concerns revolve around security, corruption, and economy, which are matters of great priority for the Buhari administration.
The new foreign policy objectives shift, the experts said, would mean a very careful choice of external actors and allies based not only on the wealth or technological advancement of such partners, but on Nigeria's vital national interests. Justin Bem-Onyi, NTA News.
And now sports. President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Nigeria's Super Falcons on their victory over the senior female football team of Cameroon on Saturday at the final game of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Yaoundé. The president described the hard-earned victory over the indomitable Lionesses as very sweet and well-deserved, and particularly commended the Nigerian women for their indomitable spirit, resilience and teamwork which spurred them to victory in spite of a vociferous home crowd. President Buhari notes that the Nigerian team achieved this feat of being African champions for the 8th time, a development he says has lifted the spirits of sport.
Sorry. Never be part of anything that has to do with this any longer, because change begins with me.
Oh boy, what do you mean talk makes sense?